update on what is happening with CISPA. The last time we reported on it, the House Intelligence Committee had passed it overwhelmingly, and now it turns out that the House has passed it overwhelmingly. And you can kind of understand why when you take a look at the number of companies that have supported CISPA. So the funding behind CISPA is incredible. Let me give you some specific numbers. Since 2011, CISPA allies have spent $605 million in lobbying. When it comes to lobbying in Congress for CISPA, there are 52 different groups that have donated at least $100,000 each.
So that's, of course, a ton of companies putting in a ton of money. But I'm sure that the House, Anna, voted their conscience, not because they got over $600 million. No. That would never affect their vote.
So that's obviously something that is discussed on this show all the time. Money corrupts politics, and of course these politicians are looking out for their corporate interests. When it comes to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, by the way, they spent $163 million in supporting it. AT&T spent $34 million in supporting it. Now, just a quick example of how little funding there is when it comes to opposition to CISPA. Lobbying in Congress against CISPA totaled to about $4.3 million in total. Now, keep in mind that funding in favor of CISPA was $605 million in lobbying.
So my favorite number there is for every dollar spent fighting against CISPA, $38 was spent in favor. Gee, I wonder why it passed with flying colors in the House. So all these rights might be taken away from you. Now, they say, look, Obama might veto it, so don't sweat it. Sweat it, okay? Because here's what they'll do. They'll go to the Senate. If they get enough corporate sponsors giving enough donations to the senators, too, they'll change one or two small things, and then Obama will say, oh, well, they addressed my concerns, so go ahead and, and pass it. So right now, there's a lot of reasons to be concerned because the House, again, passed it really, really easily. And now it goes to the Senate.
It's Representative Mike Rogers, who has been a big pusher of this bill. He's said that, there's no companies in America that opposes, which is false, and that implies that companies are more important than people. But nevertheless...
yeah, that was my favorite line of this whole debate, when he said, well, I don't understand. All the companies agree. So... well, how about the people?
Right,
how about the American people?
Well, they don't represent people.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yes.
So he has a wife by the name of Christy Clemens Rogers, and until recently, she was the president and CEO of Aegis LLC. That is a security defense contractor company, and somehow they secured a $10 billion contract with the State Department.
Oh, no. On cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And Mike Rogers pushed a bill on cybersecurity. And then his wife's company got $10 billion. Wild coincidence. I'm sure that's the first time it's ever happened in the U.S. Congress. And I'm sure that Mike Rogers didn't think about his own personal wealth at all. Because there's one thing I know about Congress. They are honorable gentlemen.
Well,
that's what I hear on TV all the time.
She did leave that position. And now she's the managing director of federal government affairs and public policies at Manat, a big lobbying firm, and she will be serving on the executive level for problem solving in the defense and homeland security sectors. So if CISPA passes, she stands to make a great deal more money.
Huh. Golly gee, Anna, I'm beginning to wonder if these aren't coincidences. Man, this is how we get royally screwed.
Yep.